getting it done. All I could think about. You know, I was absolutely dreading it. And she videoed it. We had the phone there because I just wanted to see the change in it.
Yeah.
We took a few photos before, which I'll show you. I'm in my face. You can see how scared I was.
Yeah.
And I was just staring at the wall. I was asking so many questions, looking around, and you could just see it wasn't enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
And obviously I had really long on this side, so it would comb over.
Right.
And they're like, we need to get rid of that because that bit there.
That's the thing.
That's your, you know, you're relying on this bit of hair here.
Yeah.
Scissors out, off. I was like, oh no.
This is good. This is the moment you've been worrying about for how many years?
It feels like a nail in the coffin when you're about to do it almost, but it has the absolute opposite effect. Strange to look at, still getting used to the way you look, but it's not strange to other people.
Mm.
You know?
But Tom, no, honestly, thanks for coming down here.
Pleasure.
You know, this is an interesting one, right? Obviously, because we bumped into each other. Take me back to Tom before hair loss.
I don't recognise that person now. Like, looking back at photos and stuff, it's like, I don't know who that is. Looks so different, act differently. But yeah, I was very, very active, playing a lot of sports, you know, doing things, not really thinking anything of it. I went travelling for a year.
Yeah.
It wasn't an issue whatsoever.
Confident guy? You feel
no,
good?
not the most
No.
confident. No, quite quiet, laid back.
Right.
No, I'll get involved with things, have a laugh, but I wouldn't ever be the front man, you know.
Right, yeah.
But no, it wasn't a thought. I always remember I had the little V at the very start, and I was thinking, oh, okay, it's just my hairline. It's nothing. It wasn't a thin. It's quite a thick hairline, but it was always going back slightly. So, I didn't think anything of it. And just doing things, getting involved with swimming, with the rain. I'd play a lot of football, so with the rain, the wind, I wouldn't even put anything in my hair. It was just
What it
just
was.
what it was.
Yeah. How old were you when you first noticed that something was up with the hair?
Well, it was my brother that noticed first,
Right.
which was very awkward. And I reckon I got back when I was 21. I reckon I was 22, 23.
Okay.
I reckon.
So it was when you were back
Yeah.
from travelling, was
Yeah.
it? When you come back from there?
Yeah.
Whereabouts did you go? Tell me a little bit about that. Where did you go travelling?
Dubai, Singapore, Thailand.
Nice.
And then we went over to Australia. We were there for Australia for probably about 6 months.
Yeah.
Went over to New Zealand and then America, Canada, and then back home.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, it was a good old trip.
Glad to hear that you were, I guess, the sort of person that wanted to do bits like that. Did you go to uni?
I went to college, and I had a scholarship to go play football in America.
Okay.
And I had to go through all the process of doing exams and...
So I feel like when you said you play a lot of football, you underplayed that a little bit. So when growing up, was football your thing?
That's all I did. That's all I
okay.
did. Yeah,
Okay.
at college, that's all I did. Played for Bournemouth Youth, went through all the academies. And then it was at college when my mate came up with the idea of travelling. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to America. And young, didn't know really what I wanted to do. Changed my mind. I was like, yeah, I'll come with you. There's going to be 4 of us, but then 2 backed out and it's just the 2.
Right.
And then that was it. My focus was on doing that. Met a lot of people, did incredible things, and but I'm glad I did it with no issues.
Okay.
Because it would be totally different. I don't think I probably would.
Okay, so the picture I get is growing up,
Yeah.
you know, not full of yourself, but not insecure and things like that. Just going about your business, heavily into football.
Yeah.
But obviously someone who has enough sort of like drive, courage, interest to do things like go travelling for a year. You get back from travelling, you have a great time there, fantastic time, get back, and you said your brother was the first one that pointed out the hair loss.
You know, when you first notice yours, you can't ever forget it. It's always there as a memory. And this is when we all lived at home and we were eating dinner, and I was sat on the end and he had to walk behind me to get out, so everyone walk above me, and he stopped. What are you doing? He goes, I can see your scalp. We laughed it off because we had no issues with baldness in the family really, and I always remember growing up and Mum, she was always like, hey, you won't ever go bald, you've got no issues, there's no bald people.
Yeah.
I remember that as well. It's just things you remember when you're little. And when he said it, I laughed it off, but really inside I was like, oh no, okay, because I knew I was thinning. It wasn't thick hair,
Right.
so I was like, okay, maybe you could. I don't know. A few days passed, and I was just home alone. I thought, right, it's my chance to have a look, because it's dread. You don't want to look, do you? You
No.
know? And when I looked, I was like, yeah, oh, okay, I can see it. And I was taking all these photos and just seeing if it was true, you know, just trying to, no, this can't be true. And from that moment, my mind flipped. You know, I had to, what am I going to do here? What can I do? And I went down the route of treatment. You know, I went got all the minoxidil and finasteride and did that every day for probably about 2 years, secretly.
Yeah.
No one knew.
Okay.
You know, I was living at home, so I had all the tablets and the syringes and stuff in my drawer.
Yeah.
So every morning, I would get up, go to the bathroom, do the syringe, take a tablet, go to work, do my day. Do it every morning. No one knew. I didn't want to do it. It was horrible. You know, it's not a nice thing.
How? Because obviously you're doing this in secret. Was that?
Yeah.
Why do you think that was? You just felt like ashamed about it, embarrassed about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think because I had no one to. I had my parents to talk to, but they didn't. I don't think they would have understood. No, my dad's got full thick hair. My uncle's got full thick hair. My brother's got full thick hair. You know, so I could say it to them. I knew they would just say, "Oh, don't be stupid. It's fine. Don't worry about it." But that's not really what I wanted to hear. You know. But you know, I wasn't doing it on purpose, but I just felt like I couldn't open up about it.
Yeah.
It was difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I was doing it for 2 years. And you know, when you get out of the shower, that's the worst time to look.
Yeah.
But you have to, because you can see properly. And I remember a time I was thinking, oh, okay, yeah, it is thickening up.
Right.
It is. I have seen a change. And then I ran out of tablets, and I mean, they're not cheap.
No.
You know, they're not cheap. And once I stopped, it went straight away back to what it was. And I think, oh, that's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Not good.
Why did you? I mean, I know we're skipping over a few bits, but why did you stop? Have some tea, mate? Is that like after 2 years? You saying you mean?
Yeah.
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 Is that just because you just didn't feel good doing it?
No, I didn't want. It was a hassle.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it came as a routine in the mornings, but I didn't want to do it. And you know, I'm not skeptic, but taking the tablets every day, I was thinking, is this doing anything bad for my body? I don't know.
Yeah. I just want to touch back on just briefly the bit you mentioned there with your brother and that. So obviously, like, you know, you say having a meal comes behind you, and then as you're checking, what was it? Just like the camera, phone, video,
just a phone.
And then what were you doing? Just sort of like really
zooming in.
Oh, mate,
what can I see?
Me.
Is it the light? I don't know. I moved different areas of the room.
Hoping it is the light,
yeah,
right?
Because that's what you want. But nah, it was there right in front of you, you know. And yeah, it was. You won't ever forget the moment. Not for a good way, you know. And from then, you just wanted to do something about it straight away. Like you said, save it as much as you can, and you know, it's tough, but I don't know.
So you're onto Google, right? Onto like Google and just searching like what can I do about this then?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then got onto the medication and stuff. So over this time, are you still playing football? What's life like when you come back? 'Cause obviously you would have been working, I guess.
Yeah, no, just work. When I come back, I never really got back into it. Just work, but from that moment, no matter what you do every day, you kind of got to plan it with your hair. So I was styling it. Yeah, at the start it was growing out long, kind of brushing it up, trying to style it as best you can.
Yeah.
Looking back now, it's terrible. But you do what you can with it.
Doing the best you can, yeah.
But yeah, no, just working and just trying to to hang on to it as long as possible. So
just like constantly managing it. Is that what it feels like? You just got
pain.
Keep everything in mind to manage it. What were you, if you don't mind me asking, what line of work were you doing?
At the time, I was working at golf clubs.
Okay. Hats, were they a thing?
No, not at work.
Yeah.
But outside of work, I was probably known as the hat guy.
Okay.
You know, like everyone is really going through it.
I spoke to a guy a couple of nights ago. He called it the confidence cap.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. No one will really understand unless they're going through it. But a hat, just putting a hat on, relaxes you so much. But as soon as that hat comes off, you feel so exposed and so open, and you think everybody's looking at you for the wrong reason when they're not. But that's how you feel. I never wore hats growing up, really, and it's just one time I put it on. My girlfriend liked me in the hat. I was like, okay, I'll keep wearing it. That's fine. But then it became every day.
Dependent on it.
Yeah. If I wasn't putting a hat on, I'll come back to this. But I was doing the hair fibers. I was styling my hair, so much hairspray. But if it wasn't all that, it'd be matte, and that hat wouldn't come off.
Right.
But I didn't like wearing a hat. If I had good hair, if I had full thick hair, it wouldn't be there. I wouldn't wear a hat. You know. So it wasn't. Since shaving my head, I haven't worn the hat once.
Yeah. That's awesome.
When I thought, I'm still going to wear it. I'm going to go out and put my hat on. I haven't worn it.
Haven't
Not
needed
once.
to.
No.
Yeah.
So that surprised me, to be honest. But yeah, I remember wearing the hat, and obviously parents didn't know. And my mum, bless her, she's a hugger. She likes to come welcome me with a hug. And the number of times she gave me a hug and her arms knocked my hat off.
Oh yeah.
Panic straight away. I'm like turning my back and looking at my hat, and I pick it up like looking at her like that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you don't want to do that. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But the number of times she's done that, and I thought, I can't keep doing this. This is just ridiculous.
Did you notice things like that building up over time?
Yeah, after the treatments, I was thinking, okay, what else can I do? What else can I do here? So I remember I went to a consultation in Portsmouth. Just Googled, hair surgeons, hair places to do certain things, and I went, and my idea was, I'm just going to go there and I'm just going to say, I want a transplant. What can you do? I want this. I want it to look like this. What can you do? And I went there, had a chat. I was nervous. It was a massive posh building.
Yeah.
There's me, young lad. Like, what
just
am
on
I
your
doing?
own?
I went on my own. No, I just drove up.
Yeah.
Went up, and I walked in and said, it was a massive building, so there's so many different companies in this building. So I went into the desk. I was like, I actually can't remember what the company was called now, but I went in. I was like, where do I go? And they go, go up to the fourth floor. I was like, oh, Christ. Went in, had my hat on, obviously.
Was it called like hair something?
Yeah.
So then, did you feel like, because those situations are nervous, whatever you're doing, but obviously you got to go to this front desk and be like, I'm here for the hair.
Yeah, and they're going to
place.
think, okay, well, he's here for the hair.
Yeah.
So they know it's not. It's an awkward, quite embarrassing walk up, really. So I went up there, spoke to the bloke, and he's had transplants and stuff. And I was looking at him, and he looked good. Yeah, great. So that's what I wanted, and he had a look. He took the old camera, showed me, how much hair there is. He goes, there is hair there. It's just very, very thin, very fine. Took some pictures, and he said, you don't need a transplant. I was like, oh, what? He goes, oh, okay, well, what are you going to do? I was like, well, what about Regain? He goes, give that a go. Right, okay. I went to a shop, bought it. Horrible stuff. I couldn't do it.
It's basically like minoxidil, isn't it? But yeah. Did you get like the foam one or something?
Yeah. Spray it in and rub it in. It's horrible stuff. Pain. So that lasted probably a week. I was like, I can't do this. I didn't go back. So from that moment, what's next? YouTube, Google, hair systems. Yeah. And there was this company in Germany. I was addicted to their videos. They were going for everyone. I was thinking, oh man, that's so good.
So good, yeah.
It looks amazing. And obviously because I've got thick hair on the sides and the back, it grows really quick. And I was thinking, well, that's not an issue. Yeah. So they could go that, shave the front and the middle and put a system on. So I was pretty certain I would go down that route for ages. Yeah. Long time. So I was all right, I'll just go to Germany. I can go to Germany and do this. Over time, you carry on watching these videos and you start thinking about what's the cons about this, And I thought, it might be a bit of a pain, trying to keep up with it, the money and doing it. So I went off that and I thought, right, what's next? And I think it took me a long time to accept the fact that there's one option, shave. That's it. Right. It took me a long time to get there because I'm not going to go to that point, but I'm going to do everything else first. Yeah. And that was the last thing on the list.
You mentioned like hair fibers and that as well, right? So, and that's when I bumped into you. I think that's the stage you were sort of at.
Yeah, I had them in then.
Yeah, when I first bumped into you, and we had a little chat, and you mentioned just like, oh, I'm at the point I want it. I think you'd already had the idea, didn't you? You were like, obviously, because you'd seen the videos and that, and you were like, I do want to do it, but I'm just not there yet. You know?
That's right.
Which is obviously where a lot of people are. And so during the kind of days when you said like you tried the Regain stuff and you researching the hair systems, bits like that.
Yeah.
Is when the hair fibers come in at that point, do they?
Yeah.
And it was like just styling, just doing what you can to style it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was my girlfriend that I think she bought them for me or found them. Said, try this.
Yeah.
So I think it was just on Amazon. Just bought them and tried them. And I remember the first time I put them in, looked in the mirror, I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
that is amazing.
Yeah.
I was hooked.
Yeah.
It was hooked. I was absolutely hooked. Different colours and stuff. So I tried a different thing and tried to make it look as natural as possible. And I didn't have a lot there anyway, so I think it ain't going to work. It's got nothing to stick onto.
So by this
Really.
point, quite a lot had gone, had it?
Yeah, because of hats, and it was quite a long period of time between each thing. And it got to that stage where, I got to do this or nothing.
Yeah.
So I tried it, and it was an addiction.
Right.
Hair fibres. It's very hard to get out of the routine of putting them in.
Because they do look good.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So every morning, again, it'd be a routine. Every morning, fibres in, style my hair as normal. A lot of hairspray, obviously, to keep them in.
Yeah.
And go to work, do my day, come back and wash them out. Wasn't cheap. They're not. If you want to get good branded stuff, good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I can't. Like you said, it's very hard to get out of because they were so good.
They're like the perfect
Yeah.
product, as close to getting your hair back in appearance-wise.
Yeah.
And then you're just like riding that wave of like, holy shit, like it actually looks like I'm not losing my hair at all. You know, like, oh, I've got my hair.
Uh-huh.
But then obviously when they wash out or whatever, you can't put them in. It's like, oh, actually back to reality.
Yeah. When the fibres are in and you style your hair, it's great. You go to work. But as soon as, rain, wind, people walk behind you, you think, oh, don't touch my hair, because, you're going to get stuff on your hair.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of insecurities with the men still.
Yeah.
But like you said, they worked wonders for me for probably 5 years.
Yeah.
And no one had a clue.
Wow.
Apart from my girlfriend, no one had a clue.
5 years, that's a long time.
I was hooked on them.
Yeah.
Absolutely hooked on them. When I spoke to my family probably August, I reckon it was, when I opened up about it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one had a clue. So when I told people about what I was going through, they didn't understand whatsoever. I spoke to my dad, and he wasn't annoyed at me, but he was like, "Why didn't you talk to me?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, I felt like I couldn't." And he goes, you could have just talked to me. I'm not, not, he wasn't disappointed, but you can just tell, can't you?
Yeah.
Because that's what you want from a son. You want him to talk to you and whatever. And now hearing that, I wish I did, but easier said than done, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the conversation, I had a timeline of when I wanted to shave my head.
Okay.
I don't know if I told you, but we booked Centre Parks in November, end of November. So I was like, right, okay, I need to shave it before that because I'm probably not going to go if I don't.
Right.
It got that bad where I know I'm not going to be able to wear a hat 24/7. There's going to be a lot of people there swimming, going out and doing activities. There's going to be, you've got to put a helmet on and stuff like that, you know, and so many things run through your mind. You think, I can't do that. I wouldn't do that. And you think, right,
what's the point then?
that is there's a date which I know I'm going to do it a week before,
Yeah.
and that was it. I was fixed on it. So I told people individually, people at work, one by one, my family, a couple of my mates, and every single reaction was, we had no idea.
Really?
No idea. And they were so surprised how long I was hiding it for.
Yeah.
And they're like, you've been doing this for 5 years? I'm like, yeah. Like, why? And it's hard to talk to people when they're not going through it.
Yeah.
And it's quite nice to talk to someone that has been through it so they understand and the reasons why it was so difficult. But yeah, it was nice to get it off my chest and they understood, and it was a lot easier once I told them. But now looking back and you think, I wasted a long time worrying,
Why do you think you did go on like that for 5 years and didn't sort of...
It's a good question. You don't know. You're addicted to the routine you're in, and it's so hard to get out of it. There's a tight group of friends. There isn't anyone really that's going through the same situation.
Yeah.
Family, there isn't anyone. So I didn't want to be that one person to to make that dramatic change, and people looking and asking all these questions and shocked, and and what if it didn't look good? That was always a thought. What if I do this and I really regret it? It got that bad where I don't like using the depression word, but I would say I'm very close to that.
Yeah.
I'd break down. I remember when I'd get out of the shower and I'd look, because I would try and not look as much as possible.
Okay.
Because you don't want to look. You don't want to accept how bad it is.
Yeah.
And I remember I looked a few times and I'd go really quiet. And I remember I walked in the kitchen and I was looking in the fridge and I just started crying.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend was like, "What's the matter?" I was like, just so bad. And, it got to that stage where, it was affecting mental health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was affecting every day. And enough was enough.
Yeah.
I couldn't carry on doing and feeling how I was. So,
Yeah.
it was tough. We went through horrible times, your emotions and trying to talk to people and doing all the research and when you're doing your day-to-day things, it takes over your life and how you feel, and it comes to a stage when you think, I can't do this anymore. So
it gets exhausting, doesn't it?
does,
I think is a good word.
Well, you stop doing things. You stop doing things. I couldn't. It comes to a stage where I would go swimming. We've got a 9-year-old girl. I wouldn't go under the water. She would love to jump in and splash, and I was like, oh God, stop.
Yeah.
You want to play, you want to have fun, you want to do things and not think about all these things. And I was quite embarrassed. I would wake up and I would see her just looking, and I didn't want the hair fibers and me trying to hide it become a memory of people of me. Do that make sense?
Yeah.
So I would not do things purely because what could it do to my hair?
Yeah.
And it was horrible. And when you think about the reason you're not doing things and the reason you feel how you feel, it's ridiculous. I could just change right now if I wanted to, and this would all go away. But I couldn't do it for a long time. I just couldn't do it. And like you said, the anger and the emotions all built up until, I woke up that morning and I was quiet and I was like, this has got to be the day. This has got to be it. And straight away, my girlfriend was there with the chair out and the clippers. Like, we're doing it right now.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to think about it.
What did you feel was at stake with losing the hair?
It's a good question because not a lot. Not a lot. And that sounds silly, but I knew I could shave it and nothing would change.
Yeah.
But, in a long-term serious relationship and, thankfully, bless her heart, she didn't care. She always said, I'll shave it, it will look good, I'll still love you, blah, blah, blah. So that wasn't an issue, but I still thought about that.
Yeah.
Obviously. I'd walk down the street and I would see bald people and you wouldn't think anything of it. He's bald, okay, fair enough, yeah, looks good. But if I think that would be me, you would think everybody would be looking at you.
Right.
You'll think you're going to be the only bald bloke walking around. So I didn't want to feel any more insecurities whilst doing it because I want to get rid of all those feelings.
Yeah.
So, when I saw you said about doing the old list, pros and cons.
Yeah.
And I did it, and that made me realise how many pros there was doing it and how I feel. But one of the cons was not being able to hide again.
Yeah.
So if I shave it, I can't put fibres in. I can't wear hats every day.
Which feels like a massive con.
Yeah.
At that time, right?
At the time, yeah. So I think once you do it, you can't hide. And what if I don't like it? And you don't have a choice. You have to go out. You have to go to work. You have to see your family. You have to do all these things. And that was probably, probably a big factor of
what helped you digest it.
And I wouldn't say I'm not young. I'm nearly 30, so it wasn't an age thing. But I think the fact that there was no friends or family going through the same situation, I didn't want to be the only person.
Tell me about the actual day then. So, what happens? You wake up in the morning and you're like...
Well, I actually planned to do it a few days before and I put it off.
Okay.
Because I knew the day I wanted to do it, the deadline. But a few days before, I was like, I'll do it then. It's fine, I'll do it then. But yeah, like I said, I woke up in the morning. I was really quiet because it's all I could think about. Literally nothing else was going on in my mind apart from getting it done.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend said, what's the matter? I was like, it's got to be today. She got everything out ready. She did it. And I sat down and it wasn't you know, on your channel when people are doing it and they're really happy doing it and they do it, oh, it feels amazing. No, it wasn't like that. You know, I was absolutely dreading it. And she videoed it. We had the phone there because I just wanted to see the change in it.
Yeah.
And we took a few photos before, which I'll show you. I'm in my face. You could see how scared I was.
Yeah.
And I was just staring at the wall. I was asking so many questions, looking around, and you could just see it wasn't enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
But I stopped going to the hairdressers, you know, a few years ago because my girlfriend would just do it.
Right.
She'd do the sides and cut the top as much as I wanted.
Yeah.
So she started with the sides and the back, fine, because it felt normal. And then when she got higher, I was like, oh, this feels really weird.
Yeah.
And obviously I had really long on this side, so it would comb over.
Right.
And she was like, we need to get rid of that because that bit there,
that's the thing.
That's your, you know, you're relying on this bit of hair here.
Yeah.
Scissors out, off. I was like, oh no.
Did you feel like exposed?
That's right. Yeah, it feels like you're walking out without your hat on.
Yeah.
Like that. And she did it, and like I said, we were videoing it, and I just, you know, went bright red. I was like, oh my God, no, this is just not good. Got the razor out straight through the middle. And I've never had that feeling of razors in years on my head.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it hurts. I don't like this. But got it done. And then I reckon 5 minutes after it was done, I was so happy.
Really?
It changed. You know, I was used to it already.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say used to it, but the feel of it and
a
how
new
I looked.
feeling?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And since I've had it done, I felt like I've had a weight off my shoulders and I don't think about it. You know, I'm thinking about conversation. I'm thinking about what we can do today. I'm thinking about other things. And the amount of times they've said, oh, you're a lot more funnier now, Tom. I was like, well, I'm just being myself, but maybe I am because I'm not trying to hold back something.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a great feeling just to wake up and be like, yeah, this is me, you know, I'm used to this now.
Yeah.
And we went to Centre Parks and I don't know if you've been, but all the rapids outside.
Yeah.
Which was probably the main reason I wanted to get it done. And we went on there, we went swimming, and they were like, you been underwater yet, Tom? And I was like, no. And I was like, no, I haven't.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just go underwater. So I went up, went down and came back up. You know when you got the long hair and you try and flick it?
Yeah, yeah.
It was a habit. So I did that and I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, it was just a normal feeling for me to do it. So it was quite weird to get used to it. But once I did and went on the rapids, went under the water, you know, I had a big smile on my face. And Laura, my girlfriend, she was like, it's so nice to see you smile and be happy because I wasn't for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm so glad we went to Centre Parks because since then it's changed. Everything's just changed for the good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a blessing, really. Yeah, you know, it's still, for me, I still forget that I've shaved. And I still forget about if we're planning something. I think, oh, can I do that? Yes, I can do that. I can do it now. You know, and it's good. I love that feeling.
Yeah.
So much.
It's the bit that you touched on there about like people noticing like a positive change just in your, I guess, your like persona or your like aura, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And because don't forget, obviously, you would have been you wouldn't have been conscious of it, but you would have been holding yourself back because you don't want to draw attention, do you?
No.
You don't want to draw attention to yourself because that means then the real possibility that attention gets drawn to the hair.
That's right. Yeah, I remember before I'd done it, we all sat in the garden, and whenever the hair conversation came up about haircuts, oh, your hair's long, you get a haircut, I would don't it.
Yeah.
I would get up and leave.
Like,
or
shrink
whenever
in.
someone sat next to me was talking about hair, I'd give them a nudge. You know, I don't want to talk about this because I don't want the conversation to lead on to me.
Come round onto
So,
you, yeah.
It was horrible. And the amount of times I would stand up, put my back against the wall and just act normal. When really I was so desperate to avoid a situation.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the biggest thing, isn't it? You think about that. All these, you know, through life, you go for a mate's barbecue or whatever. Your daughter, right?
Stepdaughter.
Birthday, things like that.
Yeah.
And holidays, all of this work, like literally day in, day out, all of this stuff that you just want to be there doing it.
Yeah.
But then constantly having this like monkey on your back, right?
Yeah.
Or this in the back of your mind, this thing that you need to like always be aware of. Your attention, your energy's always got to be there to like. And then this is what it's like, you know, when you take all of that away, like you said, and I think that's the thing that really holds you in that is you don't know what's on the other side.
Yeah.
But to get to that point, you have to remove yourself of all of these things that you've built up to keep yourself comfortable, don't you?
Yeah.
Or to try and manage that.
Yeah.
And obviously, like you said, like it was a big moment for you because as these years go on, you've got more and more of it, and you're more and more attached to it and used to it and stuff like that, you know. So
Yeah.
a massive deal. And obviously that's where guys say the same sort of things, you know, where it's like weight off the shoulders, liberating, I feel free. And I think that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Just feeling like you don't have to hide anymore.
Great feeling. Yeah. It's everything you do in life is changed. You know, I know it sounds dramatic, but it really is true. You know, from waking up in the morning, your routine has changed. Going to work, your personality has changed, how you feel. Walking down the road, it's hard to explain, but everything has changed for the better, you know. But I remember when I saw you, the first time I was picking up, obviously.
Yes, yeah, we bumped into each other. Yeah.
So my brother was getting married, and I originally wanted to do it for that because there's gonna be a lot of people. There's gonna be a lot of photos. I was best man, so there's gonna be a lot of stuff going on. Actually, I'll go back. We did the stag do.
Yeah.
We did go-karting, and I wanted to do it for that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. So I thought, right, I know I'm going to have a helmet on. I'm not going to be able to wear a hat. And with the helmet, it's going to be on and off. So the hair fibres will, you know,
get destroyed.
Yeah. And I would be at the back trying to keep out of the way, doing it, fix my hair. And we just finished. And my brother came up to me. He goes, "Oh, you got black stuff on your forehead." And I was like, I knew what it was, obviously.
Yeah,
but
he didn't.
No. And I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And he goes, "Oh, it must have been off the helmet. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it." I was like, "Oh, okay." But then I was like, "Oh, what am I doing here?" So embarrassed, even just to not being able to say I was just hair fibres, because no one would care if they were.
Yeah.
You know. So the wedding came round, and I didn't shave my head. Being best man, I got through the day, did the best man speech, all the videos and stuff like that, and the photos, and now all the photos are up in the family. Mum and Dad's home, my nan's house, with all the photos up, and I look back and I'm thinking, I don't like it.
Different. Do you feel like it's a different guy? Like
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Different person. That person I don't know. He was so like insecure and quiet and hiding, and you know, and the hair didn't look good. Let's be honest, it didn't.
Yeah.
And I wish I did it for that, but I couldn't. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look back at the photos and I was like, I don't know who that person is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Happens at the right time though, I think, you know, like that was probably, again, you would have felt afterwards maybe like, no, I really need to do this now. And it builds to the point where you really can do it, you know. It always happens at the right time, I think. But it's so strange, isn't it, how even as uncomfortable as as familiar feels, right?
Yeah.
It's still more comfortable than the unknown of like getting rid of that stuff, and obviously that's what keeps you there. But it's dude, it's fantastic. It's really good to see you today now, you know, because even I can tell, you know, like when I first saw you there, I know it was a bit weird, we bumped into each other and that, really random, right? But you know, you were quite sort of like reserved guy.
Yeah. And you know, because at that point no one knew.
Yeah.
And I knew they're going to be coming out of the house in a minute,
yeah.
and they I could be talking to you and they wouldn't think anything of it. The reason I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
But if they heard the conversation about, I'm struggling and everything, they'd be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
So when they came out, I was like,
yeah.
"Good to see you." You know.
Yeah. I got it.
But obviously, my girlfriend knew who you were.
Right.
So in the car, we were quite buzzing. We said, "Oh, that's
Yeah.
maybe it's meant to
lives
be
down there.
Yeah. What are the chances?" But yeah, it was quite awkward because at that point I thought it's a good time to say who that was and what the conversation was about, but still I couldn't.
No.
But I think generally everything happens for a reason, and I think bumping into you and it just sped up the process of doing it. You know? So
brilliant.
awesome.
Good to see you here.
Thanks.